The officials, the referee, Tony Correnti, the umpire, Bill Schuster, the down judge, Dana McKenzie, line judge, Tom Pedraza, field judge, Anthony Jeffries, side judge, Boris Cheek, back judge, Todd Prukop, and the replay official, Charles Stewart. I believe Miles Sanders is going to be the return man because Corey Clement got hurt last week, had a separated shoulder, and he is out for a while. And also, the Lions kicker, Matt Prater, does not do the kickoffs. That is handled by Sam Martin, the punter. And it is Miles Sanders backing up. Opening kickoff brought to you by Ford. Ford F-150, the only pickup built with a high-strength military-grade aluminum cab and bed. Check it out at your local Ford store today. Sanders is the deep man, but usually the kickoffs are not returned, especially during the warm weather when they fly out of the end zone.
Well, Sanders, to this point, Merrill, he's had 2 returns. He's averaging 26 yards per return. But you're right, most often the ball is going to be out of the end zone on kickoffs.
Although last week in Atlanta, they were purposely kicking off short and then playing with their coverage.
Well, because they had an injury in their kicking game as well. Their kicker was in a leg wrap nearly the entire game.
Here is the kickoff by Sam Martin from the 35. It is high and end over end and not overly deep. Coming up is Sanders taking it at the 5. Out to the 10. The 15. Cuts to his left at the 20 and is banged down hard at the 23-yard line. Hammered down on the play. Agnew there along with Wilson.
Yeah, he gets an 18-yard return, and that's not bad. If they're going to hang that ball high and give you a return opportunity, the Eagles are going to have to, at some point, take advantage of it, though, and get a big return.
Eagles moving from our right to our left as we begin the first quarter. Out to the far side, Arthega Whiteside wide to the right. Slot to the near side. Slot to the back into the gun. Goes Wentz. Wentz straight back. He looks, throws on first down, and it's wide. Intended for Miles Sanders up across the 30, and that ball was way off target. Wentz got rid of it very quickly, but it was way wide. It'll be second down at 10.
And this is what I mean by the slow start. You've got a wide open, just a stop route on the outside, and the ball is thrown wide.
Sanders lines up to the right of Wentz in the gun. 3 receivers all out to the far side. This time Wentz fires over the middle, and he completes it across the 30 to Agholor, but Agholor is hugged as soon as he catches the football, but still picks up about 6 yards.
Yeah, they're going to go tempo offense against this defense. Just line up at the line of scrimmage and allow Carson to do his thing from the line of scrimmage.
Empty backfield, 3rd and 3. Ball at the 31, and I think the Lions will give them the first down. The Lions encroached, and then the Eagles moved. I think this is clearly against the Lions. Let's see. What do you think?
I think you're right. I'm just waiting to see what they say there.
Defense, yes. Number 90. This 5-yard penalty will create.
And I think early in the football game, you can really do that with your cadence when you're quarterback. And if Carson's going to change up that cadence, especially when you're going tempo, if you're able to change the cadence, it can easily get these guys moving forward on the defensive side.
3 receivers left, 2 right. 1st and 10, up across the 35-yard line. Opening possession of the game. Wentz in the gun. Arthega Whiteside to the near side. Back goes Wentz. He's being flushed from the pocket. He puts it in the air deep, and he completes it along the far sideline. Making the catch and falling out of bounds is Miles Sanders down to the 24-yard line of the Lions.
Excellent protection Carson Wentz gets. Now, this is making up the play. When there's nothing there initially, he's able to buy time because of that pocket. It's a solid pocket. He finds the rookie Miles Sanders downfield. He's wide open.
1st and 10. Ball on the Lions 24. Wentz again in the gun. He's looking, still looking, fires, and it is incomplete. Wentz goes high in the air to knock it down and keep it from being intercepted. That ball was dangerously hanging in the air, and Wentz looked like a basketball center going high and swatting it away.
It's more like a volleyball play. So the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. It's hard to tell who got a hand on it, but it's tipped at the line of scrimmage. But Carson Wentz goes up just to make sure that it's an incomplete pass.
It is second down and 10. Wentz this time gives off to Sanders, and Sanders gets next to nothing. He is brought down by A'Shawn Robinson. Actually, he will lose about a yard. We have played under 2 minutes. The Eagles have the ball deep in Lions territory, but now they face a 3rd down and 11. They have to get to the 14-yard line for a first down. Now Darren Sproles comes in the game. Sproles lined up as a wide receiver. Split wide right. Agholor, Hollins, and Arthega Whitehead split to the near side of the field.
You're going to get there.
I got him. And the gun is Wentz. Wentz straight back. Wentz looks. Wentz is floating it, and it is incomplete. Screaming for a penalty flag and getting it is Agholor.
Listen, Nelson Agholor just blows by the defender on a corner route, and they've got exactly what they want out of this defense. Carson goes to the line of scrimmage. He sees the opening. He wants Nelson on a corner route, and Nelson is held right when he makes his move to the corner.
They are entering the Mealy's Red Zone, a $100 donation to Justice Rescue. Mealy's Furniture, the styles you love for less. This time, Arthega Whiteside goes wild to the far side. He is wide to the far side with Agholor in the slot. Hollins to the near side. Sproles to the left of Wentz in the gun. On first down, it goes to Sproles. Sproles cuts back, takes it across the 10, but doesn't get very far.
They've tried 2 run plays unsuccessfully, and both are those stretch plays trying to get to the outside of this big defensive front. And that's the way to play them. You got to get these big guys running from side to side and then try and pick and open as they move laterally.
It is 2nd down and 9 from the 10. Receivers with 3 left. 1 right. In the gun is Wentz. Again, he gives it off this time to Sanders, and Sanders gets only as far as the 6. So that will put the Eagles in a 3rd down and 5. A'Shawn Robinson with another tackle.
Like what they've done offensively so far, the Eagles, they're spreading out this defense. They're taking advantage of the short passing game and just moving the ball down the field against this defense.
Ertz and Sanders wide to the far side of the field. Arthega Whiteside to the near side with Hollins inside of him and Agholor closer to the line of scrimmage. In the gun is Wentz. Takes the snap. He's looking. He pumps. He fires. And it's high, uncatchably high, intended for Hollins, and the field goal unit comes on.
Carson gets to the line of scrimmage. He looks at the defense. He understands that what they're in defensively. He likes the matchup on the outside with Mack Hollins, but Mack Hollins as the inside receiver trying to get out to the corner, and Hollins just unable to get away from the defender.
So Jake Elliott comes in. Eagles settling for a 3-point attempt. It'll be a 25-yard attempt by Jake Elliott to give the Eagles the lead. Spotted, kicked up, and it is good in the Eagles' lead. With that field goal, Direct Energy kicks in another $500 to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Direct Energy supports the community. Business.directenergy.com. There's a timeout on the field with the score. The Eagles 3, the Lions nothing on the Eagles radio network. That was the Xfinity X5 lead change. Xfinity is America's best internet service provider. According to speedtest.net, learn more at Xfinity.com. So the Eagles tally their first points in a first quarter this season. They would have liked to have had more, but they settle for the field goal. Agnew is the deep man as Elliott kicks off. He hits it high, and it is returnable as Agnew takes it 1 yard deep. Out to the 5, 10, gets a block at the 15, comes across the 20, down the far sideline. He's at the 40, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Agnew, 101-yard touchdown return.
You know, they got some really good blocks. The Lions did off the left side, and Agnew, once he gets to the sideline, it's just a foot race. There's only one guy, Jake Elliott, back there, the kicker, and there's no way Jake's going to get a hand on him. He just outruns the entire defense. But there are a couple of key blocks early in the return, but once he gets to the sideline, it's just a foot race.
They're calling it 100 yards. I thought he was just beyond the goal line. but they're calling it 100 yards. Agnew, he led the NFL in punt return average in 2017, but then he had fallen off last year. But what a great kickoff return. Equally a poor job of coverage by the Eagles special teams. Here is Prater for the extra point. Ball is spotted, the kick is up, and just like that, the Lions are ahead 7-3. That was the Comcast Business Beyond Fast. Learn how to take your business beyond fast at ComcastBusiness.com. So the Eagles get off to a quick start, somewhat, settle for a field goal, and then the Lions erase that quick start and score their points without even putting their offense on the field.
"11 minutes, 14 seconds left in the quarter, and their offense of the Lions has not even seen the field yet."
That's okay. That's okay with them.
Special teams so big in this game, and when you can get a return like that, it really just helps your entire football team, of course.
You know, one of the goals is to keep Stafford on the sideline, but I don't think by that method. Sanders is the deep man. Last time he had a 24-yard return. Sam Martin to kick off. 7-3 Lions. This one is high over to the right side. It is taken by Sanders 2 yards deep, but he will not run it out. Takes the left knee, and then will bring it out to the 25-yard line.
But listen, just like in New England, where special teams are a huge deal, Matt Patricia takes that same attitude to Detroit, and he wants to have the best special teams in all of football. Well, that's a good sign.
But the Eagles have that same attitude, and one of the best special teams coaches in the NFL, and Dave Phipp.
Absolutely.
That was rare.
Number 72,
but it happened, and it certainly has quieted this crowd.
72.
Jordan Howard lines up in the backfield. Eagles go with a wing to the far side of the field. Slot to the near side. Motion to the near side. On first down, Wentz fakes. He's back. He pumps. He fires, and he completes it. He's got Ertz across the 40, and Ertz to the 48. So Wentz with a beautiful fake and a perfect pass to Ertz, and the Eagles pick up 23 yards and a first down.
So well done. Carson Wentz fakes that inside zone, and Zach Ertz, he runs that route where he appears to be going across the field and then turns back to the outside, and he and Carson are so in sync when he runs that route, picks up a big first down on a big chunk play.
Slot to the far side of the field. Howard to the right of Wentz in the gun. On first down, the give is to Howard. Howard cuts back at the 50, bangs into a man at the 45, and is finally tackled after an 11-yard gain at the 41.
Boy, but he drops his hat on the safety, Tracy Walker, and puts him on the ground. He does a nice job, Merrill, getting to the outside, and this is how you run against this defense. You find an opening, you stick your foot in the ground, you go north-south, and then drop your shoulder pads.
It is 1st and 10 at the Lions 41. Wentz in the gun again and comes right back to Jordan Howard. He's at the 40. He spins to the 35, a 7-yard gain. Jordan Howard has some pop.
Well, and he's a patient, smart runner of the football, does a nice job here. You want to spread this defense out, have them running. They're big guys. Have them running sideline to sideline and pick your spot to turn it up.
Vaitai a wing to the near side. They come right back to Howard. Howard pushes and shoves and picks up about 2.5 more yards. It will be 3rd down and short before he runs into Mike Daniels. We have played over 5 minutes here in the first quarter. 9:24 remaining in the first quarter. It is 7-3 Lions. Lions scored on a coast-to-coast kickoff return by Agnew. For the Eagles, it is 3rd down and 1. Now Sanders in the game. Wentz in the gun. Wentz slips it off to Sanders, and Sanders has the first down and more. He's across the 20, or the 30, he's across the 25, and he's down at the 24.
Yeah,
9-yard pickup.
Nice burst on the outside by Sanders, the rookie out of Penn State. Little outside zone run here, and he too picking that opportunity to go north-south with the football, bouncing it to the outside. Just needed one more block to go to pay dirt.
1st and 10 at the Lions 24. Wentz in the gun. Slot to the near side of the field. To the right to Sanders. Quick screen out to Agholor. Agholor slashes his way across the 20. Gets to about the 19 before he is brought down by Christian Jones. Picked up 4. They're in the Mealy's red zone. A $100 donation to Justice Rescue. Mealy's Furniture, the styles you love for less. Eagles, when they are playing well, they average close to 5 yards a carry on first down. So far this season, they have been closer to 3 yards. But today, they are playing well. Vaitai lines up as a second tight end. It is 2nd down and 6. The ball at the Detroit 20. Wentz in the gun. Wentz slips it off again to Sanders, looking for running room. He goes wide and finds nothing as Christian Jones is there for the second play to greet him and put him down. And that will put the Eagles in a 3rd down and 6 at the 20.
Yeah, but even early in the game, you can see how Sanders is doing a much better job of getting north-south with the football. They want to run those stretch plays, but you've got to pick your shots, and he's doing a much better job at that. Platooning Vaitai a little bit, getting some play as the tackle eligible or that third or the second tight end on the field.
Arcega-Whiteside to the near side. Sproles in the game. 3 receivers stacked to the far side. Back goes Wentz. He steps up. He's looking. He starts to run. He's across the 15, the 10, the 5. He dives. And he is, let's see, do they say his knee? They have not given a touchdown signal. I think his knee stops at the 1. A 19-yard run by Carson Wentz.
Listen, this is knowing when to run. They've got man coverage across the board. Carson pulls this thing down, and when he does, he's wide open in the middle of the field. And
Mike,
this is going to be reviewed from the booth.
I think it's a touchdown. I think it's a touchdown. When he extends the ball, as he extends the ball, I think the ball is over the goal line, and I think it's a touchdown.
I don't think so.
No?
He's going to be down at the 1.
Yeah, I guess you're right. They line up. They're in the gun. Howard, the tailback. They give it to Howard, and he walks in for the touchdown.
Jordan Howard with his first NFL touchdown as a Philadelphia Eagle, gets a great block from Alex Ellis. They bring in that extra tight end, but he's a fullback in this set. He leads the way with a nice lead block, and Jordan Howard goes into the end zone.
Every Eagles touchdown proudly driven by your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. The Honda Summer Spectacular Sales Event is on. Find the dealer near you at DelValHondaDealers.com. Well, several big plays in this game already. We've seen both backs excel. Eagles retake the lead, and here is Jake Elliott to attempt the 10th point. Spotted, kicked up, and it is good, and the Eagles lead 10-7. Time out on the field with the score. The Eagles 10, the Lions 7 on the Eagles Radio Network. Jamal Agnew, who the last time he touched the football took it 100 yards for a touchdown. Here is Elliott. Perhaps Jake can kick this one out of the end zone. He approaches the football. He hits it. It is a line drive, and it is indeed out of the end zone. And Jamal Agnew can only watch that one.
It's almost 1:30. The Eagles defense just coming onto the field for the first time.
Stats brought to you by PNC Bank. PNC has been a cornerstone in our region for more than 150 years, and they're committed to helping the members of our community. PNC make today the day.
The Eagles 10 runs, 7 passes to this point in the football game.
Under center is Matthew Stafford. Kerryon Johnson, the single setback. 3 receivers, slot to the near side of the field. Stafford back, he pumps, he fires, he completes it, has 8 yards as he goes to Kenny Golladay. He was almost hit before he released that ball, just got it away and picked up 7.
Yeah, the encouraging thing is, though, how quickly the Eagles' green shirts were able to get into the backfield, bodies all around Matthew Stafford. He's able to maneuver, though, buy a little bit of time, get the ball to Golladay.
But his pocket presence is amazing. It is 2nd down and 3 for the Lions. Motion to the near side, Amendola. Stafford with Johnson to his right. Screens out to Amendola, and Amendola fights for the chains and gets close to the first down. He's knocked out of bounds shy of the 35, so he doesn't quite pick it up. It'll put the Lions in a 3rd down and 1. Let's see how the Eagles' short yardage defense can dig in and do.
This is where they like to go, Merrill, when they want to get a quick first down, to Amendola, get him out in space. This time, that defense just closed so quickly on him, puts them in the 3rd down situation.
They go with a double tight end. Shotgun. Johnson in the backfield. Motion. Tight end. Stafford gives it to Johnson, and Johnson has the first down. Cracks off left tackle. Needed a yard and picked up a little bit more, maybe 2, where Zach Brown makes the stop a yard too late, and it gives Detroit a 1st and 10 up at the 36-yard line. The Eagles leading 10-7. Lions break the huddle. 3 receivers all out to the far side of the field. Johnson, position next to Stafford in the gun. Marvin Jones goes in motion from left to right. Back again goes Stafford, firing over the middle. Diving reception, Marvin Jones. Jones had to leave his feet, but he neatly looked the ball into his hands at the Eagles' 44-yard line before it hit the ground, and the Lions pick up 20 yards on that play.
Well, and Matthew Stafford, he's going to go down the field with the ball. Jones runs a nice little stutter route, stutters to the outside, gets inside of Ronald Darby, and finds an open space in the zone.
They're at the Eagles' 44. Lions with a double tight end, and Stafford under center. Johnson, the back behind him, takes the handoff. He spins, makes 2 men miss, and falls forward and picks up a yard where he was close to losing about 4.
Yeah, because Zendejo comes from the secondary, Merrill, and he has a shot in the backfield, but somehow he's able to slip right by. Johnson is able to slip right by Zendejo.
But it's basically no gain. 2nd down at about 9 3/4. Lions line up in an I formation. Ty Johnson, the tailback. Rookie from Maryland. Under center is Stafford. He fakes. He backs up. He pumps. He looks. He rolls. He is still running around in the backfield. Eagles are after him. He pumps and he fires the football out of bounds. Incomplete. Leaping up on the far side of the field. They got pressure from Brandon Graham. Leaping up was Sidney Jones. Got his fingers on it, but it was incomplete. They just couldn't get to Stafford.
This is excellent defense on the back end. The secondary, an outstanding job of not just covering the receivers, but pasting to the receivers. As Stafford's moving around, trying to buy time, he still doesn't have anywhere to go with the football.
It is 3rd and 10. Empty backfield. 3 receivers. Stafford calling for the football. He's back. He's looking. He guns it, and it is complete, I believe, to Kenny Golladay. Now they are marking it down at the 35-yard line, and he will be short of a first down, or let's see.
Oh, he's got it.
No, are they giving it to him? One official stood back at the 35, and the other marked progress across the 34.
He's got the first down. If they're going to mark the ball where he initially was hit, it was beyond the sticks.
Well, that was a great throw by Stafford because he was well covered on the play. First and 10 for the Lions at the Eagles' 34. Again, a running play, and it being knocked down across the 30 down at the 28-yard line is Johnson, Kerryon Johnson. They have 2 Johnsons who are running backs. One is Kerryon Johnson, and the other is Ty Johnson. We have 1:58 remaining in the first quarter. Eagles lead 10-7, but the Lions are close to being in the red zone. It is 2nd down and 5. They're at the Eagles' 29-yard line. Backs in the eye, the tailback, Kerryon Johnson. Hawkinson in motion, the tight end. On a delay, it goes to Johnson. Kerryon Johnson across the 20. He's got a first down, and the defense gave him a big hole, and he is down at the 18-yard line after an 11-yard pickup.
Yeah, and Rodney McLeod here just saves a touchdown because you're right. Johnson gets a couple of really good blocks, and he's about to get another one on the corner by the tight end. He's going to get a block on Ronald Darby here, and if not for Rodney McLeod coming up from his safety spot, there's no one else there.
Slot to the far side of the field. Two-men couple to the near side. 1st and 10 at the Eagles' 18. Stafford again to throw. He is firing deep, and it is caught down at the 2-yard line on a tremendous catch by Logan Thomas. The 3rd tight end, Logan Thomas, with a 15-yard gain. That was not an easy catch, but Stafford put it where only Logan Thomas could make the catch.
Well, they line these tight ends up, and they send one out and then the other one right behind him, and that trailing tight end comes wide open.
Timeout on the field with the score. The Eagles 10, the Lions 7 on the Eagles radio network. That was a great catch by Logan Thomas. Those of you who follow college football might remember Logan Thomas as a quarterback at Virginia Tech. He's in his 5th year in the NFL.
He made the transition. There's only been a few. I think Mike Tice was one of the guys that quarterback at Maryland made that transition to the tight end position in the NFL.
1st and goal at the 3. Motion to the near side. The give goes to Kerryon Johnson, who dives, but he is short of the goal line. He gets to about the 1, down to Howard.
All right, Merrill, in the medical tent is Derek Barnett. The good thing is the independent neurologist did not go in, so that means it's not a head injury, but one of the doctors left, but he's still in there now. Further report, I'll give it to you. Back up to you.
And that is going to end the 1st quarter with the score. The Eagles 10, the Lions 7 on the Eagles radio network. Well, the Eagles lead by 3 as we begin the 2nd quarter. However, the Lions have a 2nd down and goal at the 1. They go with an I formation. Under center is Stafford. He gives it off and plowing ahead and pushing ahead. Not in yet is Kerryon Johnson. Do they stop him? I believe they did. He hit the line, but nothing budged. And that will put the Lions in a 3rd down and goal from the Eagles, inside the 1.
They line up with 3 tackles on this play because they know they need beef up front. They've got Spence up front. They've got Ridgeway along with Fletcher Cox just to try and keep this ball out of the end zone. You need more beef.
They have Sweat in there, too. Under center again is Stafford. Motion to the near side. Stafford. Now there's a penalty flag as Stafford fires deep in the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown by T.J. Hockenson if it stands. But let's see about the penalty.
There's going to be an offsides penalty called on the Eagles, I'm pretty sure. There was movement right before the snap. Now, I think the tight end stepped out, then came back in to catch the ball. That's where the flag's in the back of the end zone. But I think it's going to go back, and they're going to get half the distance to the goal.
Well, here it is.
There's no foul in the end zone. Player stepped out of bounds, came back in. By rule, that's an incomplete pass. However, offside, defense, number 66 in the neutral zone at the snap. Half the distance to the goal, and repeat, 3rd down.
So you are exactly right. That's on Akeem Spence. And so it will be 3rd down and goal again from the 1-foot line. They have all 3 tight ends in. Can the Eagles stop them again right here?
No, is this the quarterback sneak?
Stafford. Under center. Stafford gives it off. And into the end zone leaps Kerryon Johnson, and he scores, and the Lions regain the lead. Over center, Frank Ragnow, and he just flew into the air and tumbled into the end zone.
Yeah, this is just taking off from 3 yards deep and just throwing your body over the entire pile is what Johnson does here to get into the end zone.
Kerryon Johnson was a 2nd-round draft choice last year from Auburn. Pretty good back. In for the extra point is Matt Prater. Ball is spotted. The kick is up. And the kick is good, and the Lions lead 14-10. That's the timeout on the field with the score. Detroit 14, Eagles 10. (14-10) Lions, less than a minute into quarter number 2. Stats brought to you by PNC Bank. For more than 150 years, PNC Bank has been right here at the heart of our community, investing in our students, our businesses, and our people. PNC make today the day.
Carson Wentz was 4 of 7 in that first quarter for 74 yards. Jordan Howard 4 carries for 20 yards and a touchdown. Miles Sanders 1 reception for 40 yards. Zach Ertz 1 reception, 23 yards.
Sam Martin's kickoff is high and end over end, and it will go over the head of Miles Sanders and out of bounds. And so the Eagles will line up at the 25-yard line, moving left to right.
Well, they were able to get 10 points in that first quarter, and everyone's talking about no first quarter points. That's not the issue so far in this game, but they are having problems stopping this Lions offense.
The big plays in that first quarter, a 40-yard pass along the sideline to Miles Sanders and a 19-yard run by Carson Wentz. 1st and 10. Ball on the 25-yard line, their own 25-yard line. Wentz lines them up in a tight formation. Motion. Wentz fakes. He's rolling. He's looking. He's going to run again, and he slides down near the 30. You don't want Carson Wentz running too much, but as he rolled and didn't see a receiver, there was clear sailing, and he neatly slid down without taking a hit.
He has had 2 runs in this game, and they both were timely. They both were runs when you look downfield, and it was the correct thing to do.
Arcega-Whiteside, let's call him JJ, to the far side. Slot to the far side. Ertz in tight. Wentz in the gun. Sanders positioned to his right. It is 2nd down and 7. Wentz straight back. He pumps. He looks. He is engulfed. He dashes out, and he throws it away. And as he had waited 1 more second, Miles Sanders was clear at the 40-yard line, but Mikey let it go before the cut was made.
Yeah, but do you want him to throw it away? And yes, many times you do. Or do you want him to hold on to it and take a shot? And that is the balance.
Here are some scores. Cowboys 10, Pennsbury 3. Green Bay and Denver 7-7. I think that's Miami, but that's what they are like. I'm not a criticism of Pennsbury, by the way, but the Dolphins do not play on this level. It is 3rd down and 7. In the gun is Wentz. Takes the deep snap. He steps up. He looks. He fires complete. He's got the 1st down, and he fires that one perfectly to Mac Hollins up near the 40-yard line, and that is an 11-yard gain.
See, now that's where he can go with the football. Mac Hollins going to get single coverage all day. The two of them just have to be on the same page, though. Mac runs a nice route. Gets the defender going to the inside, comes back to the outside where there's lots of space for Carson to fit the football in.
JJ, Agholor, and Hollins to the far side of the field. Wentz to the near side. In the gun is Wentz. Sanders to his right. 1st and 10 Eagles at the 38. Give goes to Sanders, and he comes crushing right up the middle. Picks up about 4 yards or close to 4 yards as he just took what was there and picked up 4 yards, and that's okay.
Yeah, and that's keeping on schedule. When you're able to, on 1st down, get the ball, get that much movement by the offensive line, and that's really good movement, pick up 4 yards, that's a good thing.
7-6, Kansas City leads Baltimore.
Jason Peters comes out of the game, and the rookie, Andre Dillard, checks in at the left tackle spot.
It is 2nd down and 6. Jordan Howard in the game. Under center this time is Wentz. Wentz on 2nd down, fakes to Howard. He's back. He puts it in the air. He completes it. Penalty flag thrown as the catch is made by Hollins inside the 47-yard line of the Lions. But let's see, are they going to call offensive pass interference?
Yeah, they're going to call pushing off by Mac Hollins on the play. Yeah, at the top of the route, they're saying that Mac gave a little bit of a shove to Darius Slay.
Pass interference. Offense,
Terrible
number
call.
16.
Now they're allowing the
10-yard
fans to
penalty.
see him at the top of the route,
Second down.
and I don't think any of the fans agree with the official that that's a push-off.
Now, Doug Peterson could challenge if he'd like. That is now challengeable. Watching it again, boy, I think I might challenge that one, Mike. I don't see it. Doug could challenge this, but he's not going to. It is second down and 16. Sproles in the game. Wentz lines them up. He's back. He's looking. The reason he goes over the middle, he completes it, and running with the football is Whiteside. Whiteside made the catch and picked up 10 yards. I think the reason he didn't challenge is because for that to be overruled, it's really got to be significant. It's got to be 100% clear. They're not going to overturn those or create those on borderline infractions.
I like the way they're picking away at this defense and just little chunks, because that's what you can do against this predominantly man coverage secondary.
Ertz in motion, comes back to the near side. Shotgun, 3rd and 6. Wentz back. Wentz steps up. Wentz fires. He's got a first down on the far side, and now the ball comes loose, incomplete. Agholor had it, and then he was hit, and he lost it, and he did not have it long enough.
It's a little bit of trying to do a little too much by Nelson Agholor. He catches this ball, but he's intent on spinning back to the inside and getting away from Justin Coleman, the cornerback. And in the process, Coleman pulls the football out.
And you can't do that.
If he catches this ball and just goes out of bounds or goes down, he's got a first down.
Yeah.
But he wants to make more of the play than's there.
Here is the punt by Johnson. It's end over end, and it will be fielded on a fair catch. And the Lions will get it as Amendola is the returner. There's a timeout. I'm sorry.
It's hard for me to fault him for that.
No, there's a timeout on the field with the score. The Lions 14, the Eagles 10 on the Eagles radio network. The Eagles Kids Club is the perfect gift for the young Eagles fan in your life. Members receive an awesome welcome kit, access to exclusive events and more for just $20. Join now at PhiladelphiaEagles.com/Kids Club.
Hey, that last possession that the Lions had, they had the ball for 13 plays. They went 75 yards. See if this defense can do a better job of corralling them.
1st and 10, Lions at the 20. Play action. Stafford back, fires, and it is caught, I believe, by Marvin Jones. He goes low again and scoops it into his hands, inches from the ground.
Yeah, again, it's Matthew Stafford. These receivers, they're going to get open given the time, and Stafford able to just step up in the pocket in rhythm and deliver downfield.
Malcolm Jenkins was there, but that's just a good play by Jones and a 19-yard gain. Up at the 39. 1st and 10. Under center. This time, play action. Stafford rolls and throws it into the ground, incomplete, in the direction of Hawkinson. But that time the pressure was right there.
Yeah, this is just a veteran throwaway. You got Brandon Graham right in the face of Matthew Stafford. He's going to put him on his back. You've also got a defender out. He's trying to screen the ball out, and you've got Sendejo out there in the area of that screen. He has nowhere to go with the football.
It is 2nd and 10 at the 39. Lions lead 14-10. Just over 10 to go in the first half. Shotgun, 3 receivers. Ty Johnson to the left of Stafford. And this time it looks like there's a penalty, and it's an illegal procedure on the part of the Lions. They moved. They were sloppy.
False start. Offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
But I can tell you this. Kenny Golladay was looking to go on top on that play. He got off so quickly, and he was going 9 or the deep ball all the way.
They have not had any hits on Stafford. It is 2nd down and 15. Empty backfield. Shotgun. Lions at their own 34. They lead 14-10. 3 receivers right. They screen out to the far side of the field, but the Eagles are there, and they swarm over Ty Johnson, and he will gain nothing.
Malcolm Jenkins read this thing the entire way. This is an outstanding job of understanding what they like to do and reacting to what they're doing on the field. Malcolm Jenkins gets that first hit and allows the other help to get there.
Lions have to get to the 49, their own 49, for a first down. It is 3rd and 15 from the 34.
They've been perfect on third down so far.
Shotgun. 3 receivers. Slot to the near side. They need to bring the heat. Back goes Stoddard. He steps up. He rolls. He looks. And he fires. And it is caught, but way out of bounds as Kerryon Johnson falls way short. The first defensive stop of the game brought to you by St. Christopher's Hospital for Children, committed to delivering high-quality family and patient-centered care since 1875. So that is fine. They pick up a few yards, but so what? The Eagles defense did a good job on that series.
Excellent job that series, and you look inside, and Fletcher Cox is being held so much. He and Vinnie Curry this time were trying to get the attention of the officials.
Sam Martin, the punt. He gets it away. It is end over end. Sproles looks up, it goes over his head, and then it rolls, and it'll be down at the 9-yard line. So the Eagles will have 91 yards to go. There is a timeout on the field with the score. The Lions 14, the Eagles 10 on the Eagles radio network. Here in the first half, Eagles trail the Lions 14-10 quickly down to Howard.
Merrill, Derek Barnett has gone to the locker room, tried it one series. I believe it's his left ankle. Further report, but it didn't look good. I'll give it to you, back up to you.
1st and 10 for the Eagles. The ball just inside the 10-yard line.
The rookie Andre Dillard still in at the left tackle spot. Jason Peters appears to be all right, just getting a breather.
In the gun is Wentz. Sanders to his left. Give goes to Sanders. Tries to come outside. He is screened in, and then he just lowers his head and picks up 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Brought down by Christian Jones. Jones has been trailing Sanders all game.
Wow.
Timeout on the field.
Andre Dillard down on the field.
That was fast. Timeout on the field with the score. The Lions 14, the Eagles 10 on the Eagles radio network. Walks, doesn't limp, comes over to the sideline. But interestingly, Jason Peters did not come in back at left tackle. Instead, is Halapoulivaati Vaitai.
Correct.
Eagles with the 2nd down and 8. Football at their 12. They go with a slot to either side. Now Sanders sets up to the right of Wentz. It is 2nd down and 8 at the 12. Wentz takes the snap and he slips it off to Sanders, and Sanders comes running up across the 15 up to the 17-yard line where Trey Flowers made the stop, but that's a 5-yard gain by Miles Sanders, putting the Eagles in a 3rd down and 3.
It's interesting how when these guys come off on the sideline now when they're injured, it's not going to the bench and getting examined anymore. Everyone goes into that little blue tent. Seems like regardless of what the injury is, everyone goes into the covered blue tent.
It is 3rd and 3. Wentz takes the snap. He's looking over the middle. Complete. He's got a first down to Ertz. Up at the 30-yard line. Ertz always finds a way to get open, doesn't he?
He's so very good. Regardless if it's man or if it's zone, he knows how to get open. He knows how to run away from man coverage, and he knows how to find pockets within the zone coverage.
Sanders stays in to the right of Wentz. 1st and 10. The ball up at their own 29. Wentz in the gun, 3 receivers right. Handoff goes again to Sanders. Sanders fumbles the football, goes down. It's still rolling around, and we'll see. I think the Eagles have it back.
I think Seumalo is able to get back to the ball eventually.
Number 73, 2nd down.
It is.
Yeah, Seumalo caught a lot of flack from his play last week, but he really saves this offense right here, getting on the football.
He saves the day right there because the Lions actually had it, and it just squiggled away from one of them and went back, and Seumalo was the man on the spot.
And right away, Jordan Howard comes into the game at the running back spot.
It's 2nd and 8 across the 30. Slot to the near side. 2 receivers stacked to the far side. Wentz once again on the gun. Have to get to the 49, their own 49. Handoff again to Jordan Howard, but he doesn't get far as he tries the left side and gets only as far as the 34. That's 3 yards. Okwariye made the stop. It is 3rd down and 5. Wentz sets them up. 2 receivers to the far side, 3 to the near side. Lions may have jumped. Wentz fires the football complete to J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. He's going to run down the sideline, and he does before he's tackled at the 6-yard line. And that's smart because...
There's no play. Yeah. Encroachment. Defense number 92. This 5-yard penalty will create a first down.
That's a hot day. You're just wasting energy because all the officials are back here in a huddle. And I get it.
But I still think when he makes that catch, unless he's sure that the play is blown dead.
They blew the play dead right on the snap. So everyone else stops. But, of course, Carson's going to throw it to him on the outside. And then they just burn a lot of energy.
At any rate, it's 1st and 10.
It's too hot to burn that much energy.
Greg Ward, in his first NFL action, split wide to the near side of the field. He is the wide man. Carson Wentz lines them up. Sanders to his left. 1st and 10 at the 39. Give goes to Sanders. Sanders breaks 1 tackle and comes up across the 45-yard line. 6-yard gain down to Howard with an injury update.
Okay, there's 3 of them. Andre Dillard goes to the locker room with a knee injury. Jason Peters has an illness, although he's staying on the sidelines. That's why he didn't go back in. It's unbelievable that Derek Barnett and ankle.
It is 2nd down and 4, and the handoff again goes to Sanders, and Sanders has a first down as he comes to midfield.
Yeah, really good movement. They're blowing the ball dead, I believe, but really good movement. The Lions are saying that there's a fumble and they have the football. There's a big huddle in the middle of the field right on the Eagle.
Field is a fumble recovery, Detroit. First down.
And the Detroit Lions are correct. The ball is fumbled for the 2nd time by Miles Sanders. The ball gets ripped out. And looks like the Lions have the football.
Well,
now,
it's got to be
reviewed, of course, because it's a change of possession. But on the field, the call is a fumble.
But they waited a long time to call that. Now let's watch the replay, Mike. Tell me what you see. As Sanders is running with the football.
There are too many bodies there. I can't see anything more than I saw
here. He
initially.
is gripping the ball, but I think it's a fumble. I think it is coming out of his left arm before his knee hits the ground. I don't think this is going to be reversed. And the Lions get the football a yard shy of midfield.
But now that'll start to hurt your playing time. He fumbles and they go back to him. But then when you do it again?
On 1st down, they go with a double reverse. And racing to the near side of the field is McKissick. He comes across the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10. And J.D. McKissick is knocked out of bounds down at the 7. And the fans are understandably upset. Lions leading 14-10, and with 4:36 to go until halftime, they are knocking again on the Eagles' door. And the rookie from Penn State, Miles Sanders, has fumbled the football for the 2nd time in this quarter, and this time it was recovered by the Lions. First time it was recovered by Ciamalo, but not this time. It is 1st and goal at the 7 for Detroit. On 1st down, handoff goes to Kerryon Johnson, and he goes right down. Brandon Graham makes the stop, and he picks up nothing. The Eagles would be thankful to hold the Lions to 3 right here.
Yeah, they run that reverse, and they're able to pick off bodies going down the sideline, and it's just a big, big play. Huge swing of emotions and momentum and all of that.
It is 2nd down and goal from the 7. And the gun, Stafford. Stafford takes the snap, looks right, looks left, fires over the middle, incomplete. Tried to get it to Kenny Golladay, but he was well covered on the play, and Stafford wisely threw it away.
Here's crunch time, Mr. Reese. So for your pregame, your in-game, or your post-game cravings, keep it Philly with Hers snack.
If they can hold the Lions to 3 points right here, that's like a victory.
Yeah, that's a win.
3 receivers right. Kerryon Johnson to the left. Stafford in the gun. Lions lead 14-10. Back goes Stafford. Stafford fires, and it is incomplete. Incomplete. Lions yelling for an interference, but they're not going to get it, as it was intended for Hawkinson, and Rasul Douglas was right there, and the field goal unit will come on.
Tell you what, that's pretty close down there. Rasul Douglas, if you look at it closely, it looks like his left arm is wrapped around T.J. Hawkinson's waist as he's lunging to get the football out, but nonetheless, they're settling for a field goal in this situation.
So it will be 25 yards for Matt Prater. Chip shot. Spotted, kicked up. And it is good, and the Lions lead 17-10. Here's John Russell with an NFL update.
Merrill, Tom Brady closing in on the all-time record for career TD passes. He's got 2 so far today. That's 523, passing Drew Brees for second place, 16 behind Peyton Manning. We'll see him in November. Patriots over the Jets, 20-0, brought to you by Dietz & Watson. 80 years of handcrafted Philly family flavor. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing.
If I'm Matt Patricia, that's one that I may even consider challenging the Rasul Douglas on the tight end, T.J. Hawkins.
But you know what? On a play very similar, Mike, if you'll remember last week
I do
in
remember.
Atlanta.
And that came to mind, but
they didn't overturn it.
And that came to mind. But when I looked at that play again, if I'm Matt Patricia, I would consider it. In 5 plays, they're able to get a field goal, a 25-yard field goal, after that huge return in possession.
Miles Sanders is the deep man, standing at the goal line. He's just got to get that out of his head. And the kickoff is short, taken at the goal line by Sanders, out to the 5, the 10. Hit. Oh, he is hit hard. Really hit hard.
His helmet's ripped off of his head.
Yeah, down by Killebrew at the 15-yard line. Oh, he is not having a fun afternoon.
You don't get a penalty call for that? Is there a way you can review that?
No.
They ripped by the face mask. They ripped the helmet off of his head,
and there's nothing called.
By the face mask, the helmet is ripped off of his head. That's how they get him on the ground, and there's no call with that.
Oh, this is egregious. This is egregious.
Are you kidding me?
That is as bad a call as I have seen. That goes
it's
back
a non-call.
That goes back to the call at the beginning of the Dallas game in Dallas last year, where the Eagles recovered a fumble. That can't they see the helmet on the ground? What do they think? It just slipped. And the gun is Wentz. He fakes. He looks. He goes over the middle. He's got Ertz at the 25. Steps over a man at the 30. Up to the 35. Zach Ertz to the 40.
That a boy, Zach. This is an outstanding job by both players. Carson Wentz, he's going to look Zach Ertz. Oh, he's going to look left. And there's a wide open space for Zach Ertz, and he throttles down until he gets the football, and then he takes off.
Ertz is now second all-time in Eagles receptions. 1st and 10. Ball at the 38. Jordan Howard to the left of Wentz. Carson Wentz fakes, runs, dives, and takes it up to the 44-yard line. Touchdown by Tracy Walker. So Carson Wentz, throwing caution to the wind, picks up 5 more yards.
Well, it's another run. So he's got options on this, but the best option is for Carson to stick his foot in the ground, go north-south. He gets 5 yards on the first down play.
3 receivers right, 2 left. It is 2nd down and 5. Wentz in the gun. Eagles trail by a touchdown. Wentz back again, has time. Fires. Complete. Diving reception. Guess who? This time it's Mac Hollins. Down at the 45-yard line. And there is the 2-minute warning with the score. The Lions 17, the Eagles 10 on the Eagles Radio Network. Zach Ertz now has 453 career receptions. He has passed Pete Retzlaff, former great end of the 1960 Eagles championship team, for second on all time. Pete was also an Eagles general manager. And now Ertz trails only Harold Carmichael. Can't stress how much Harold Carmichael belongs in the NFL Hall of Fame. 589 for Harold. So Zach is still 130-something away. First and 10 Eagles. They are at the 45-yard line of the Lions with 2 minutes to play in the first half, and the Eagles trailing by 7 at 17-10. Jordan Howard to the left of Wentz. 3 receivers. Back goes Wentz. Puts it in the air again. He's got Agholor, who drops it. I believe it's dropped. It's picked up by the Lions, who think it's a fumble, and running down the sideline is Darius Slay. Now let's see what they call.
It's a fumble.
It is called a fumble.
Nelson Agholor catches the ball, and right away he tries a football move, and that's...
Boy, that is the second...
I don't know if you... 1, 2... He doesn't have the ball for 2 steps. I don't think... I think it has to be a catch, two steps, and a football move.
We'll go under review.
See, Mike,
I don't think there's enough in this to call this a reception.
This wasn't that different than the play earlier today where Agholor caught the ball and then started to move back. This was awfully quick. The one that was ruled an incompletion earlier.
Oh, that was clearly an incompletion. I'm not so sure about this one.
It's awfully close. This is the AAA official review. AAA Roadside is their strong side. Make AAA part of your game plan at AAA.com.
But they're just hurting themselves with plays like this. Miles Sanders, you fumble the ball twice. You fumble it one time, you're able to get it back. Then the very next series, they're giving him opportunities. 2 plays later, 3 plays later, he puts it on the ground again. You just cannot do that in the National Football League and win games. These teams are too good. They're too talented.
Agholor dropped one that would have been a first down, and this one he had in his hands and started to spin.
That's 4 times now the offensive players have put the ball on the ground.
I would tend to think that this one is going to stand as called, which is a fumble.
I'm not surprised if it stands because he's starting to make a football move. Although he doesn't take the 2 steps that by the rules, you got to take 2 steps. If you're just going strictly by the rules, I don't really see 2 steps and full control of the football, but I'm not surprised if this is the Lions ball.
Here it is.
After review, the ruling on the field of catch and fumble stands. It is Detroit's ball, first down.
I am not blaming the officials for this.
No, you're hurting yourself when you do things like this. And Nelson really is trying to make a play. And rather than make the big play, just make the simple play. Sometimes you just have to keep it simple. Just like on the one earlier on 3rd down that was punched out. Rather than make the big play, make the simple play, get the first down.
That is the second takeaway by the Lions. It's the 3rd fumble. 1:51 remaining, and the Eagles were moving the football. They were moving the football. They can move the football against this team, but they hurt themselves time and time again. 17-10. Eagles even got off to a reasonable start today with 10 first-quarter points, but they also gave up a coast-to-coast kickoff return. So it's the special team breakdown, the turnovers. This is how a team kills itself. Eagles are far too talented to be making these kind of mistakes. 1:51 remaining here in the first half. Marvin Hall in at wide receiver. He is split wide of Kenny Galladay to the far side. Backs in the eye. Under center is Stafford. Motion. Galladay. Stafford comes back, hands the football, and spinning with the ball, looking for running room, is Kerryon Johnson. And on second effort, he manages to pick up about 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6. 1:38 remaining in the first half. Eagles really had a great opportunity to march down and put at least 3 points on the board here at halftime. But instead, They turn the football over. Turnovers kill time and time again, and they are -2 in turnovers in this game and on the season. It is 2nd down and 6. Under center again, Stafford. Motion to the far side of the field. This time Stafford goes with the screen, and that doesn't work because Amendola catches it at the 20-yard line and is tackled immediately.
Yeah,
good,
Rasul Douglas recognized this thing way too quickly. Yeah, Amendola catches it, but he's got Rasul Douglas wrapped around him just as soon as he catches the football.
Barnett back in the game, too. So it'll bring up a 3rd down and 8. Ball at the 20. Lions at 3 for 5 on 3rd down conversions. I hate to say what I said before, that stop them here and give them 3 points. That would be a victory. And that's what happened before. They gave up 3 points. But those points continue to mount. It is 3rd and 8 at the Eagles 20. Empty backfield. 5 receivers. Stafford in the gun. Eagles haven't touched him yet. Stafford backs up, looks right, fires. They complete it, but short of a 1st down, as making the catch is Marvin Jones, and he is tackled at the 15-yard line.
Philadelphia.
Eagles call a timeout.
30-second timeout.
And you make a good point when you say they haven't hit him yet, because when you don't hit Matthew Stafford, when you don't make things uncomfortable for him at the quarterback position, he can truly pick you apart. And right now, he probably has one of the best supporting casts that he's had in his 11-year career.
The Lions, by the way, will be receiving the football to begin the 3rd quarter. They deferred. They won the flip, and they deferred. Now the field goal unit comes on. Now Prater will have a pretty short field goal, although even though he holds the all-time record for the longest field goal in NFL history, 64 yards as a Denver Bronco, he missed a 40-yarder last week. This one will be considerably shorter. This is only 33. This should be as close to automatic.
Set the play clock to 10 seconds.
This will be a 33-yard attempt. This is basically an extra point. Eagles hurting themselves with mistakes.
Well, they're not
Detroit.
even getting lined up properly.
A 30-second timeout.
Lions take a timeout. I wonder why.
Maybe they're going to ice their own kicker.
I don't think you ice Matt Prater on a 33-yarder. But the Eagles have not played well.
They gave him a fresh 10 seconds on the play clock, and I think the play clock was winding down.
The defense has made mistakes in this game. There's no doubt about that. Prater took just a practice swing with his leg and slipped and landed on his backside. That would be fun to see if there were a ball down there and it counted. Here it is, a 33-yard attempt by Prater. 59 seconds to go in the half. Ball is spotted, the kick is away, and of course the kick is good. And the Lions have doubled the Eagles, or the Lions lead 20-10. It says 18-10. They added an extra point. The scoreboard added an extra point because that's the distance that it was. Now they go up to 20. Get your propane grill tank delivered to your home. Visit cinch.com and get your first tank exchange for only $10 at cymch.com. Enter promo code Reese. Junior Cheer is back on Sunday, September 29th. Come out for a fun-filled day, including instruction from Eagles cheerleaders, a performance on the field, and more. 2 sessions are available. Get your tickets today at PhiladelphiaEagles.com/JRCheer. Well, Doug Peterson is usually pretty calm and instructional at halftime, but today may challenge that demeanor. He cannot be happy. Sanders, who last time had his helmet taken off and no penalty called, is back again. And he feels the high, short kickoff, and this time he takes it at the 5. Out to the 10, 15, 20. Up to the 24 he goes, helmet intact. And so is the football. Fortunately, Miles Killebrew in on the tackle. 52 seconds to go here in the first half. It would be nice if the Eagles could put at least 3 points on the board before the intermission.
Well, you don't want to see before the intermission is your quarterback making another tackle. I think he's got 2 tackles to his credit already in today's contest.
Arcega-Whiteside out to the far side. Hollins in the slot. Slot to the near side. Wentz in the gun. Sproles to his right. Wentz calling for the football. He's back. He's looking. Steps up. He fires, and it's incomplete. Thrown high for Wentz. Couldn't come down with it. Tracy Walker doing a good job of defense, but nevertheless, Wentz was a little bit high that time. That'll bring up a second down at 10. Football remains at the 34. Play only used up a few seconds. Still 48 on the board. Eagles have 1 timeout in their pocket.
Carson 9 of 15 for 142 yards so far on the day.
Also has run for close to 30 yards. 1 time for 19. Sproles split wide to the far side. 4 receivers right, 1 left. Went straight back. He's looking, still looking. Now he starts to run. He loads up, and he is going to be sacked back at the 21-yard line. Could have thrown it away. That didn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's a bad play by Wentz.
You saw the throwaway earlier where a receiver broke open just as he's throwing it away. Well, that's what he needs right here. Once you bail out of that pocket, you have nothing. Just throw the football away and live for the next play.
Could have done it. 19 seconds to go here in the first half.
He's going to learn things like this. As he grows, as he matures as your quarterback, these are the type things that he's going to have to learn and have to become better at. Now they're just going to allow the clock to run down.
And the Eagles are going to be serenaded Philadelphia style on their way to the locker room. And there is the end of the first half with the score. The Lions 20, the Eagles 10, and the Eagles are lucky it's not worse than that. Stay tuned for the Piazza Auto Group halftime show, brought to you by Piazza Auto Group, with 25 locations including Honda, Acura, Mazda, Hyundai, Volkswagen, Subaru, and more on the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Make today the day on 94 WIP. Who needs to get hot? Brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White Water Heaters are American, strong, and built to be the best. Find a plumbing contractor near you. Visit BradfordWhite.com.
Well, when I look at the receiving and the yards, and I just say the receivers in Nelson Agholor in particular in this second half needs to get hot. They're going to need to throw the football. Nelson Agholor factors in as a big part of that, and he has to get hot. And what he has to concentrate on is securing the football. Not so much the move after the catch, but just securing the football.
Opening kickoff brought to you by Ford. Ford F-150 is the only pickup built with a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy cab and bed. Check it out at your local Ford store today. Second half adjustments brought to you by Tower Health. Tower Health is proud to support our home team and connect you to your healthiest. Discover more at towerhealth.org. Jake Elliott to kick off. Jamal Agnew, who had a 100-yard coast-to-coast kickoff return early in the game, watches this one slip through his fingers 9 yards deep and go beyond the baseline. So the Lions go 1st and 10 at their own 25. Eagles gave up a kickoff return touchdown. They had 3 fumbles, 2 recovered by the Lions. They've recorded no sacks. they've had no visible pressure whatsoever on Matthew Stafford. And they're still in this game at 20-10. But unless they wake up, it's going to get ugly. 1st and 10, Lions. They go to an I formation with Kerryon Johnson, the deep back. On 1st down, it goes to Johnson, and Johnson backs his way forward for about 3. That's it. Eagles need to come up with a turnover. They need to create some spark. And so far, Mike, they have been lifeless.
Yeah, the energy level is just not what it needs to be, and not what we're used to seeing at home. You're used to seeing that energy level and guys flying around, particularly when they're playing here at Lincoln Financial.
It is 2nd down and 7 for the Lions. Ball on their own 28. 2 receivers stacked to the far side. Lone receiver to the near side. Kerryon Johnson, the single setback. Under center is Stafford. Motion to the near side. They go back to Johnson, and Johnson breaks a tackle and plunges up to the 34-yard line, just a yard shy of the 1st down. They are putting holes in the Eagles' defensive line.
Yeah, they are. You know, the guys up front, they're going to be going upfield. And it's the linebackers. That's where the weakness is showing up. The linebackers have to come in and fill those gaps when that first line of the fence gets upfield, and they're not doing a good enough job at that.
Lions go with 3 tight ends. Under center is Stafford. He gives the football off, and they have the 1st down. Kerryon Johnson just lowers his helmet and wedges forward for about 3/4 of a yard. That's all he needed, and they will move the chains. Eagles also cannot sustain a long Lions drive. They need to get the football, and they need to put some spark back in this game, which they have not displayed this afternoon. They trail 20-10. They have given the Lions 3 gifts. 1st and 10. Ty Johnson, the single setback. Now the Eagles jump.
Yeah, there's movement on the Lions side, too, though.
It is. It's being called on the Lions.
Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty.
It's on Graham Glasgow. So that'll make it 1st and 15. 5th penalty against the Lions. Can't blame the officials except for one egregious mistake where Miles Sanders had his helmet ripped off his head on a kickoff return, and the flag stayed in their pockets. It is 1st and 15. 2 receivers, slot to the far side, wing to the near side. Back goes Stafford. He has time. He fires, and it is caught out of bounds. Out of bounds. Intended for Marvin Jones, and the ball thrown a little bit wide, and Jones could not keep his feet in bounds.
See, the defense has to be a little bit careful here. I think they're showing their hand a little bit too quickly. Zach Brown, he's going to pressure this time. He's going to come from his linebacker spot to put pressure on Matthew Stafford. When you show that too early, Matthew Stafford can easily get out of, check out of, and getting to a play where he can hurt you when he understands what you're doing on the other side.
Double tight end, single setback. Ty Johnson. Under center is Stafford. Stafford fakes. He's back. Here comes the rush. They hit him. He still gets the football away, and it's incomplete. Hey, they hit him. He was hit. And Malcolm Jenkins was all over him, and he still managed to get the ball away. It's just an incompletion.
Yeah, they blitz him, but Malcolm Jenkins is going, and he just a little too hard. Matthew Stafford does just enough, a little sidestep, and gets out of harm's way. Did not take that big pop from Jenkins, who's going full speed after him, but still very disruptive and putting these Lions in a third and very difficult situation.
It's 3rd and 15 from the Lions 31. Let's see if the Eagles defense can hold right here.
There's going to be a challenge flag thrown on the sideline with Matt Patricia.
Is he challenging pass interference?
I think he's going to challenge pass interference in the area where that ball was thrown. And I think the linebacker, Nigel Bradden, was down, and he was more or less face guarding the intended target. And Matt Patricia has thrown his red flag out.
Well, it's got to be as I've been.
Detroit is challenging the ruling on the field of no pass interference.
This is the AAA official review. AAA roadside is their strong side. Make AAA part of your game plan at AAA.com. If it counts, it's going to give the Lions a great big gain. However, it's got to really be significant. And I'm watching right now. There's some pushing on both sides. There's pushing on the part of both.
Yeah,
Nigel Bradham, I don't think so. There's a timeout on the field. Danny Amendola was down, but I think they both are locked up. Both of them. Timeout on the field with the score. The Lions 20, the Eagles 10 on the Eagles Radio Network. The ruling on the field stands, which we thought it would, and Matt Patricia just threw away a timeout. They were both locked up down there.
It'll be third down.
Down to Howard.
Merrill, one more player out on defense. Ronald Darby out for the game with a hamstring injury. Arnett's back. Dillard is back with a knee brace, but still questionable. And JP is still sitting on the bench. Back up to you.
12 and a half minutes to go in the third quarter. Eagles trail 20-10, and the Lions have a 3rd and 15. Two receivers stacked to the right. Lone receiver out to the far side. And the gun is Stafford. Stafford takes his drop. He's looking. He's still looking. He starts to run. He pumps. He is going way downfield, and it is incomplete. He tried to go downfield for Kenny Golladay, and that pass broken up way downfield, and a good play by the Eagles as Stafford had found himself clear, and Rasul Douglas was right there.
Yeah, it's a really good job of breaking down the pocket there. It's only 3 guys rushing Stafford, but they do an outstanding job of speeding him up somewhat. But that play's just not going to happen. Rasul Douglas underneath it, and he's got the safety coming over top.
In the punt, Sam Martin. He gets it away. Darren Sproles looks up, and he calls for a fair catch and steps out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Not a returnable punt. So the Eagles have a long way to go, yard-wise and score-wise. Although with 12:16 to go in the third quarter, there is a lot of time in this game. Let's see if the Eagles can breathe some life back into their offense and hold on to the football. Nelson Agholor had a ball that was a completion for a first down that he tried to spin and drop the ball. That was an incompletion, and he had another that was a fumble.
Yeah.
Jason Peters is back in the game at left tackle. 1st and 10. Wentz in the gun. Empty backfield. Wentz on first down. Takes the snap. He backs up. This time, he's looking. Still looking. He looks, rolls, now fires, and he completes it. He's got a first down up to the 45 to Mac Hollins. Nice play by Hollins.
He's got all day back there to throw the football. I mean, all day. You talk about keeping the pocket clean. Well, they do an outstanding job, not just in front, but Lane Johnson around the edge, Jason Peters on the edge, keeping it clean. Carson, a lot of time to finally find a target downfield.
That's a 19-yard pickup, and Hollins does a very good job of shaking away from the guy covering him. They go with a tight formation. 1st and 10. Ball at their own 35. Lions lead 20-10 here in the third quarter. On first down, they go with an end around. Running with it is Agholor. He is spinning, and he gets to the 40. He was hit at the 35-yard line, did not lose his balance, continued to spin forward and pick up 6 yards.
Yeah, he's a really good runner with the football. This is a little toss forward, and Nelson Agholor sees the safety coming and just spins away from him, does a nice job of, as you said, keeping balance.
3 receivers to the far side, Ertz to the near side. This time again goes to Howard, and Howard comes plunging forward and has the first down. When you watch Jordan Howard, pay attention to how many yards he picks up after the hit.
Yeah.
He was hit about 2 yards short, and the pile just continued to move.
And that's one of his trademarks, his after contact yards that he's able to pick up, and he's now has 6 carries for 28 yards and that 1 rushing touchdown.
It is 1st and 10 for the Eagles at their own 45. 3 receivers to the far side, Ertz to the near side. And the gun is Wentz. Wentz on first down. comes right back to Jordan Howard. This time a more modest gain as he takes it to the 49, where Trey Flowers is the low man bringing him down after a pickup of 3. So it is 2nd down and 7. Eagles moving right to left as we hit the 10-minute mark, 10 to go here in the third quarter, and the Lions leading 20-10. Sproles enters the game. It is 2nd down and 7. Ball on their own 48. Wentz lines up. Sproles to his right. 3 receivers left. Out to the far side is the great target, Zach Ertz. Wentz in the gun. Makes the snap. He's back. He's looking. He fires, and it is incomplete and almost intercepted. Eagles are very lucky there as he tried to gun it to Ertz, and Darius Slay, who ended the game with an interception a few years ago in Detroit, had his fingers on that ball.
Yeah, Slay had that one. He drives on the ball, and it's kind of a betweener. I don't know if he's trying to throw it to Darren Sproles or trying to throw it to the receiver on the outside. And it's too high for Sproles. It's too low for the receiver on the outside. Slay limps off of the field, and that's important. If Darius Slay cannot go, you got to attack the new defender that comes into the game.
3rd and 7. Eagles have to get to the Lions 45 for a first down. 3 receivers left. Shotgun. Wentz looking. He is floating it for Hollins, and it's incomplete. Pass interference, Detroit. They're going to call this one on the Lions.
No, they're going to call it offensively.
They already called one offensively on Hollins. Are they calling this offensively too?
Well,
it would be his 2nd.
He pointed in the direction of the Eagles.
Now let's see. They already called an offensive pass interference on Hollins.
Pass interference, offense number 16. This penalty has been declined. The result of the play is 4th down.
When have you seen an Eagles receiver get 2 offensive pass interferences in one game?
Well, I know the first one was a horrible call.
Well, how about this one? Watch this one.
And this one's not much better.
I don't see anything there. In the punt, Cam Johnston. It's end over end, and it will hit at the 1 and go out of bounds as it backs up to the 2. That was a Mike Quick wedge.
What a great kick.
It's a timeout on the field with the score. The Lions 20, the Eagles 10 on the Eagles Radio Network. If the Eagles can trap Stafford in the end zone, that would be the safety of the game, brought to you by PGW. PGW, delivering safe, reliable energy to Philadelphia for more than 180 years. PGW Energy for all of us. Visit PGWworks.com. 1st and 10 Lions. Ball at their own 2. Motion to the far side of the field. The handoff goes inside, and Johnson is thrown down. He doesn't gain anything. May even lose a yard. That's Kerryon Johnson as opposed to Ty Johnson. Zach Brown, the man in. He'll lose a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11 at the 1.
The crowd gets into it in this situation. The players fire off of the football and do one heck of a job and not allowing anything, any movement by this Lions offense.
It is 2nd and 11 at the 1. Same formation. I formation. Slot to the near side of the field. Motion. Golladay on 2nd down. Trying to throw is Stafford. He fires and he completes it, and he has a first down. Stafford is one cool customer, backpedaling and waiting for Jesse James to clear and hit him for the tight end for a 13-yard gain. And just like that, they're out of trouble.
Well, he looked initially to the flat route, which was not there, because Rasul Douglas does a nice job of taking that away, and you're looking then for the safety to take away the route downfield to the tight end. Tight end gets wide open.
8:10 to play in the third quarter. Lions lead 20-10, and they have a fresh set of downs up at the 14-yard line. Same formation, the I. And again, they hand it off inside, and again, the Lions are well defensed by the Eagles' defensive line, led by Derek Barnett.
Yeah, and they've done a pretty good job for the most part in the run game all day long. It's just when Matthew Stafford pulls it out and wants to throw the football, or when he's in a drop back and throwing the football, they're just not getting enough pressure on him.
They have yet to sack Stafford. Ball on the 13. It is 2nd and 11. Single setback. Slot to the near side of the field. Play action. Stafford back. He steps up. He lets it fly, and it's incomplete. Marvin Jones was open on the near sideline, and flying across the field was Malcolm Jenkins, and he deflected it off of its target. That was the great hands catch or attempt. Great hands play by Malcolm Jenkins. Sponsored by Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa. Distress after the game with massages and facials starting at $59.95. Visit handandstone.com.
The Lions are 50%, 4 of 8 on third downs. They're in a third down situation once again right here.
It is 3rd and 11 at the 13. The crowd is growing in sound. Back goes Stafford. He looks, he fires, and it is incomplete.
Well,
there
and
was
he's
some
finally
pressure.
hit, Merrill. He finally is taking a shot, and Vinny Curry puts him on his back finally. Just as he's releasing the football, he's not able to step into it, couldn't get enough on the ball, so the ball ends up falling well short of his intended target because of that pressure, because of that hit by Vinny Curry.
In the punt as Sam Martin. Eagles ought to get some pretty decent field position out of this. Sproles is back at his own 40. I'd love to see him get one that he can return. This one's away. It's high and end over end. Sproles comes up, takes it, and starts forward and gets only about a yard. Took it at the 49 and was able to wedge his way forward to about the 47. Time out on the field with the score. The Lions lead 20-10 on the Eagles radio network. 6:59 to play in the third quarter. Detroit 20, Eagles 10. This is where you really miss that number 10, because this is where you like to just say, go deep, Deshaun, and suddenly the tide changes. But
yeah,
right now.
And many times when you get a possession, and your first possession is in enemy territory, you want to go deep. You want to try and take the big shot in situations like this.
It is 1st and 10 at the Lions 47. Jordan Howard stays in. Wentz under center. Slot to the near side of the field. On 1st down, Wentz gives off Jordan Howard, and he pushes and shoves and picks up about, maybe 2 yards. No more than 3. 2.5 maybe before he runs into Damon Snacks Harrison, the former New York Giant. That'll be 2nd down and 8.
Yeah, he's a tough guy to move. Snacks Harrison, he's probably listed 350, but he's not 350. He's a little bit above that, I'm sure.
It is 2nd down and 8 at the 45, empty backfield. 3 receivers to the far side. Ertz slotted to the near side, inside of Howard. Back goes Wentz. Has time, he fires, and it's incomplete. Howard was slanting. The ball was in his hands at the 40, and he simply dropped it.
Yeah, you got to know the strengths of your players. That's just not one of the things that he's good at. Now, if this ball is right on the shoulder pads, maybe he holds on to it. But the fact that it's away from his body, he's not that guy.
It is 3rd down and 8. Hollins and Arcega-Whiteside out to the far side. And Agholor there too. Sproles to the left of Wentz. Ertz to the near side. Back goes Wentz. Wentz looking. Wentz fires, and it's caught. He's got a 1st down, and once again it's Mac Hollins grabbing it with his hands, snaring it with his hands, and that's a 20-yard gain deeper into Lions territory down at the 25.
And if they're to come back, you've got to rely on Mac Hollins and Nelson Agholor. What they're doing with Zach Ertz is they're trying to take him out of the game. So they isolate Ertz on the short side of the field, but the Detroit Lions, they buzz the guy out there so that they're double covering him, taking him away. They're going to force you to beat them with someone else other than your main target.
Goddard in the game. And the gun is Wentz. He looks, takes a drop, he fires, he completes it over the far side of the field, and it is Ertz rolling forward down to about the 18. That is a 7-yard pickup of the Eagles are in the Mealy's red zone. $100 donation to Justice Rescue. Mealy's Furniture, the styles you love for less.
I like the patience that Doug Peterson is showing in his play calling. He's not trying to get it all at once, but you do have to chip away at this defense.
It is 2nd down and 4. Wentz under center, wing to the far side. Give goes to Jordan Howard, and Jordan Howard picks up nothing. He tried to scrape along the line of scrimmage, looking for a sliver of daylight, didn't find any, and Jelani Tavia makes the stop.
Tavai just comes up from his linebacker spot and just makes a big play. Now, they're able to move the guys at the line of scrimmage, but what the guys at the line of scrimmage, their defensive front will do is allow Tavai to run freely to the football.
Empty backfield, 3rd and 5. Ball on the Lions 20. Can the Eagles move the chains right here? Wentz back. Wentz looking. Wentz fires. He completes it. And spinning is Agholor at the 10. Breaks the tackle. He's in for a touchdown.
That's what he does.
That's what he does, and the ball remained in his grasp.
This is an outstanding job of catching the football, securing it by Nelson Agholor. He gets into that traffic, and he just spins away from the cornerback on the outside, gets away from him, and dashes to the end zone for a touchdown.
Every Eagles touchdown proudly driven by your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. The Honda Summer Spectacular sales event is on. Find the dealer near you at DelValHondaDealers.com.
Yeah, they force you to have someone other than Zach Ertz win, and especially when you get down in the red zone. Nelson Agholor wins.
He beat Quandre Diggs. Here is the extra point. Spotted, kicked up. And good. It's a 3-point game with 4:15 to go in the 3rd quarter. Timeout on the field with the score. Detroit 20, the Eagles 17. On the Eagles Radio Network. Stats brought to you by PNC Bank. PNC supporting our businesses, investing in our community, and cheering on our sports teams for more than 150 years.
Here's the stat. That's a 6-play drive, 47 yards it covered. It's a 20-yard touchdown toss and run to Nelson Agholor.
Here is the kickoff. It is a low-line drive, and it will bounce in and out of the end zone. So ever since Jamal Agnew, on their first possession, returned the kickoff 100 yards for a touchdown, Jake Elliott has done a good job of keeping the ball away from him. 1st and 10 Lions. They lead by 3, 20-17.
Let's see if this defense can once again get to Matthew Stafford, because that was the key in that last possession, forcing him to pull a string on that throw.
They still have not been able to sack him. He's in the gun. He's got Ty Johnson to his left. 3 receivers. Slot left. On 1st down, he fakes. He goes back. He's being chased. He is looking. He is directing traffic, and he slides out of bounds. In pursuit was Akeem Spence, and the play will gain about 1.5 yards, maybe 2.
Yeah,
and there was Josh Sweat who put pressure on him inside.
Josh Sweat flushes him out of the pocket. Now, Matthew Stafford, not the best athlete, but he can get it done sometimes when he has to run.
2nd and 8. This time it is a running play, and coming across the 30 is Ty Johnson. A pickup on the play of 4, so that makes it 3rd down and 4 for the Lions. Zach Brown, former Washington Redskin, and on the tackle.
Yeah, and you know this defense would love to get off of the field right here.
Have to keep them inside the 35. 3:40 to play in the 3rd quarter. Lions lead by 3.
They are 4 of 9 on 3rd down.
They go empty in the backfield. 3 receivers left. Stafford into a long count. Stafford takes the snap. He backpedals. Here comes the rush. He throws it anyhow and completes it across the 50 and down to the 48 to Marvin Jones. He was backpedaling. He had pressure in his face, and without stepping into it, he armed it 27 yards to Marvin Jones.
Jim Schwartz blitzed Andrew Sendejo, and Sendejo did a nice job last week of getting home on the blitz, and this time he affects the throw, but Stafford's a little too good.
1st and 10, and this time going wide and being knocked out of bounds is Ty Johnson, but he picks up about 2.5 inside the 40.
That was a huge play by Matthew Stafford, because he's about to get hit and he knows it. He's retreating. He's getting leaning back away from the contact, but he's able to put enough on that football to get a huge first down and into Eagles territory.
That just shows you the natural talent of Matthew Stafford. It is 2nd down and 8. Ball on the Eagles 40. They go to an I formation. Borden, the fullback. Johnson, the tailback. Stafford wants to throw. He looks, he fires, he completes it, and jumping in the air and picking up the first down is Borden, the fullback. Borden was stopped short of the chain, or was dead to right short of the chain, and then he leaped into the air and picked up a first down.
And you could see him gathering himself right before Rodney McLeod got there so that he could leap over him. And he does, leaps over him and picking up another first down.
They're down at the 29-yard line with 1:54 remaining in the third quarter. Lions leading by 3 and in position to get more. 1st and 10. Ty Johnson stays in. Under center. Handoff. Ty Johnson, and he is ridden down by 3 Eagles as he gets back to the line of scrimmage and not a bit more.
See,
led by Derek Barnett.
That's a much better way of everyone in their gap. See, Derek Barnett, he sets the edge here. But what's nice about this play is the way Zach Brown comes up from the linebacker spot, fills that gap, and does not allow the play to get past the line of scrimmage.
It is 2nd down and 10. Kerryon Johnson in the game. Slot to the near side. It would be great if they could pick off Stafford. Stafford in the gun. Slot to the near side of the field.
He's changing the play. They showed that blitz too early.
Stafford now calls for the football, takes the snap, and then just throws it down.
No, they moved.
Penalty flag. Yeah,
the Lions moved.
That will cost them 5 yards.
Start. Offense, number 82. 5 yards.
So
that's Logan Thomas.
Here's the game that's going on at the line of scrimmage. Matthew Stafford sees that they're going to blitz. Malcolm Jenkins shows it too early. He resets his offense. He starts to audible, and so does Malcolm Jenkins. Then he shuts off the blitz, and he resets the defense. The communication on both sides, back and forth, kind of led to that motion.
It is 2nd down and 15 for Detroit. They're at the Eagles 34. Motion. Back goes Stafford. Fires over the middle. Wide open. And running with the football all the way down to the 4 is Danny Amendola. Or let's say out of they say the 12. Out of bounds at the 12. I don't know who lost Danny Amendola, but that was a terrible defensive breakdown because Amendola was wide open.
Nobody picked him up. They're playing zone, and when he gets outside the hash marks, there's nobody from the hash mark all the way over to the outside of the field. There's no one there. Number 80 down the sideline.
Kerryon Johnson stays in. 1st and 10. Under center is Stafford. Stafford takes his drop. He looks. He fires into the end zone. Touchdown. No, incomplete. It is incomplete. It looked like it was in the arms of T.J. Hawkinson.
And it was, but Rasul Douglas rips it out. Outstanding job. You know, this is at the catch point, and Rasul gets in at the catch point and gets the football out.
There is the end of the third quarter with the score. The Lions 20, the Eagles 17 on the Eagles Radio Network. That could be the play of the game, as that ball was in the breadbasket of T.J. Hawkinson, and it was ripped out before he hit the ground by Rasul Douglas. 15 minutes left in the game. Call Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. Ball on the 12. It is 2nd and 10. Lions. They're on the Eagles 12. Under center is Stafford. He puts Amendola in motion. He goes back. He is floating it, and it is caught this time. And it is a touchdown to Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones open and just had a step, and it was put in there perfectly by Stafford, and this makes the task more difficult.
Yeah, Marvin Jones just runs a crossing route and runs away from Sidney Jones, and this is just one where Stafford just throws it out there and allows Jones to run under it for an easy touchdown.
That could be the play of the game, brought to you by Delaware Valley Acura Dealers. To experience precision-crafted performance for yourself, stop by your local Delaware Valley Acura dealer for a test drive or visit DelawareValleyAcuraDealers.com. So here is the extra point to give the Lions again their second 10-point lead. Spotted, kicked up, and the Lions lead it 27-17 with 7 seconds gone in the fourth quarter. That's tough. You know what the big play was on that? With the Eagles defense rushing and Stafford backpedaling, and had somehow able to put his arm forward and get the ball downfield for a big completion.
Well, and it's clear that the secondary, they're being taken advantage of. If you can't get to Matthew Stafford and the quarterback, and we've seen that in the past couple of weeks, teams are able to throw the ball against the secondary. It's as simple as that.
Lions to kick off. They lead by 10, 27-17. But this is certainly doable for the Eagles with almost a full quarter to go. Sanders, the deep man. He had his problems as a ball carrier today. He made a great reception in the first quarter for a 40-yard gain, but then he has lost the ball twice. We lost the ball once, but fumbled twice. Here is the kickoff by Sam Martin. And it is coming down. Running to his right is Sanders. And he picks it up at the 1 and is looking for running room. And he gets to about the 12. That was a good job by Sanders because it was not by the punter by Sam Martin, who was doing the kickoff duties today. He is their kickoff guy and their punter. But that ball bounced at the 2-yard line. Now there's a penalty flag thrown, and we'll see about this. All the way upfield. Now
offside, kicking team number 41. Philadelphia's exercised the option of the 5-yard penalty and re-kicking the football.
Sure. Eagles got a real break there.
Yes,
I don't know what Sanders could have done right there because the ball bounced and it wasn't going out of bounds.
It was the smart thing to do.
It was an illegal formation penalty. Player did not line up properly on the 34-yard line.
It's okay with us. 27-17 Lions lead. So now the kickoff will be from the 30. They still spotted it at the 35. I'm trying to think to myself, am I crazy? The answer is yes, but aside from that, they move it back to the 30-yard line. Sam Martin to kick off. Miles Sanders standing at the 5 this time. Boy, that would have been terrible to have the Eagles with the football that deep. But this time it is a line drive, and Sanders will let this one go in the end zone, and then it kicks out of bounds. So the Eagles, instead of having the football down near the 5-yard line, have it out at the 25. So that's a 20-yard gain right there.
And although the offense, they didn't come out feeling like they really were playing to catch up, I think they're getting to that phase now where they have to show a sense of urgency, and you're going to have to throw the ball downfield a little bit. Dallas Goedert checks in now.
Single setback. Ertz wing to the near side. Slot to the far side. Wentz under center. Wentz on first down. Fakes. Backs up. Looks. He's hit. Held the ball too long. Brought down by Christian Jones. Just held the ball too long.
Yeah, he's got to learn to throw that one away. He's got to learn to just throw that one to the sideline high so that he's not suffering that sack.
He double clutched, and then it was too late. So now the Eagles have a second down and 13. This has been a very disturbing performance all afternoon by the Eagles, by too many of them. It is second down and 13. Sproles to the right of Wentz. They have to get up to the 35 for a first down. Wentz takes the snap, and he's back again. He's looking, still looking. He is rolling, still rolling. He is hit, throws the football away, incomplete. That could be intentional grounding, but I think they're going to just rule him down.
It is third down.
He's sacked.
Yeah, it's a sack, and it's Snacks Harrison. Again, Mike, to repeat what you just said, he's got to throw it away at that point.
Yeah, he's got to learn to get rid of the football and just go to the next play, or just give it a shot. You've got Mac Hollins running down the field. He's good at the 50-50 ball, high pointing the football. Give him a shot.
Now they have 3rd and 20. 3 receivers to the far side. They're back at the 15. Wentz backs up again. He steps up. He fires. He completes it, but it's incomplete. He had Ertz for a moment, and as Ertz came down, the ball was incomplete. But the fans were upset. I don't blame them, because where that ball was thrown, there was no chance of picking up a first down.
Nope.
Had Ertz stayed with the catch, it wouldn't have mattered. They'd still be punting.
Well, and the Lions only rushed 3, and they dropped way back because looking at the situation, they know that the Eagles had to go a long ways. Smart defense.
Cam Johnston to punt. It's end over end. Backing up is Jamal Agnew at the 28. Comes to the 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Into Eagles territory to the 48. Cameron Johnston makes the tackle. 57-yard punt, 25-yard return. Timeout on the field with the score, 27-17 Detroit. Yeah, it's that bad. On the Eagles radio network, the Eagles are trailing by 10. It's not the disturbing factor, because with 13:03 remaining, there's plenty of time left. However, what we're watching today is a poor performance by the Eagles in every phase of the game. On first down, Lions at the Eagles 48. Handoff goes inside, and picking up about 5 yards is Kerryon Johnson. The special teams have given up a touchdown, a 100-yard kickoff return, and a 25-yard punt return. Awful. Defense has been unable to stop the Lions consistently. They have pressured Stafford hardly at all, sacked him 0 times, and the offense has fumbled the ball a bunch of times and made a myriad of mistakes. It is 2nd and 7 for the Lions. Once again, it is a running play to Kerryon Johnson, and the Eagles play that well. This time they throw him for a loss, and it is Zach Brown penetrating. Brandon Graham was over there stringing out the play.
See, in the area of the run game, they haven't done a half-bad job against this offense as they try to run the ball, but it's when they get in situations like this. They're 50%, 5 of 10 on 3rd downs, but the Eagles have to be better at defending them on 3rd down.
It is 3rd and 10 for the Lions at the Eagles 48. Can the Eagles stop them here? Back goes Stafford. Stafford looks, pumps, fires, and is it complete? No, it's incomplete on the far side of the field, intended for Kenny Golladay.
They're bringing in their punting unit.
Yeah, they have to. So the Eagles get them to go 1, 2, 3 and out. That's a pretty good job.
Yeah, but that's only half the job. The defense now, they've done their part, and they're getting off the field.
Golladay came close to making that catch, but he was not in bounds. He had his foot on the sideline. Here is the punt by Sam Martin. Deep man is Sproles. This one's away. It's high and end over end. Sproles looks up, gets out of the way, and it goes into the end zone. The Honda Summer Spectacular Sales Event is on. Find the dealer near you at DelvalHondaDealers.com. 47-yard punt, no return. Now again, there is time in this game, 11:31. But the Eagles really don't need an 8-minute, 9-minute grinded-out type of drive.
Listen, they've got 11 minutes. There's plenty of time. 11 and a half minutes. There's plenty of time, but you have to make good use of the time that you have and good use of this possession.
Arcega-Whiteside to the far side. In the middle, Hollins. Tight. Agholor. Howard, the single setback, takes the handoff and runs for 3 yards. That's it. Crowd is very quiet right now. That's not what Eagles fans are all about. But they have been dismayed by the performance that they have watched this afternoon. And in the hot sun, they are just sitting here waiting for something to wake them up.
Yeah, and with this run, running right into all of these big bodies on that Detroit defensive line, there's not a whole lot to cheer about.
It is 2nd down and 8.
Listen, you can't move these guys. They're way too big on their defensive line.
Ball at the 22.
That's why you have to get this defensive line to move. You got to get them to move laterally because they can't move that way. They're too big.
Slot to the far side. Ertz to the near side. Miles Sanders in the game. Motion to the near side. Wentz fakes. Wentz back. Wentz looking. He's going over the top. Complete. He's got Sanders at the 45-yard line of the Lions. Christian Jones brings him down, but Miles Sanders, who wasn't known for his receiving at Penn State, made a second fine catch of the game.
Yeah, and this is an excellent job of scheming, matching him up with the linebacker. They match him up with Christian Jones, a backer, and he's got to be able to win in that situation. That's a weakness of this Detroit Lions defense.
Sanders stays in. Slot to the far side. Ball at the Lions 45. Wentz goes to Sanders. Sanders pushes, shoves, turns, comes to the 40-yard line, a pickup of 5. That's fine.
I thought we would see more of that, matching those linebackers up, isolating them against Darren Sproles and against Miles Sanders. They've won twice on big plays with that.
10 to go in regulation. 27-17 Lions. Eagles, 2nd down and 5. Again, handoff goes to Sanders. He's at the 30. He cuts back at the 25. Miles Sanders has awakened.
Yeah, that's the burst that you need to see. He gets into the secondary, gets to that second level, and he has that automatic burst. They don't touch him until he's 10 yards down the field.
He comes out. Sproles comes in. Ertz in the near side slot, inside of Sproles. 3 receivers to the far side. 1st and 10. Ball at the Lions 26. 9:25 to go in regulation. Lions lead by 10. Can Wentz start the march back? He is screaming out a play over to Ertz. Ertz relays it to Sproles. Back goes Wentz. He's looking, still looking. He is going deep, and it is dropped by Goddard. It was in his hands in the end zone. He may have lost it in the sun, but he lost it, and that's all that counts. It was a touchdown, and he dropped it.
Just so many mistakes. So many mistakes. And Carson gets to the line of scrimmage, and he's got the right play call. He knows he's got the matchup that he wants with Dallas Goedert on the outside. He puts the ball where it needs to be.
Perfect.
Wow. How do you overcome all of these mistakes?
It is 2nd and 10.
And again, it's matching up your talent against their linebackers, and they're not good cover linebackers.
They go with a shotgun double wing. This time the give goes to Sproles, and he gashes the Lions for a few as he goes down to about the 22-yard line. Trey Flowers and Snacks Harrison combined to make the stop. It'll be 3rd down and 7 at the 23. I would think if you don't pick it up, you go for the 3 points to make it a 7-point or 1-score game. But you never know with Doug. He likes to gamble. Very aggressive. Sanders to the right of Wentz. Slot to either side. Wentz takes the snap. He's back. He's looking, still looking. He is floating it, and it is incomplete. Sanders was the intended receiver, but there's a penalty flag thrown, and I think it's going to be roughing the passer. Let's see.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 90. This penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal.
Yeah, they're going to call that on Trey Flowers, and it's awfully late.
That is the Eagles entering the Mealy's Red Zone, a $100 donation to Justice Rescue. Mealy's Furniture, the styles you love for less. And that takes the football down to the Detroit 11-yard line.
Yeah, this is awfully late where he finally hits Carson after he's released the ball, and he's looking for results down the field. And finally,
Sanders in the game. This time the give goes to Sanders, and he comes to about the 10 and then is repelled by A'Shawn Robinson. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Now Goddard comes back in the game, along with Sproles. Out comes Arcega-Whiteside.
Now, they understand the weakness, and the weakness, they can go right back to matching up against those linebackers in pass defense.
Sanders comes out also. It is 2nd down and 9. 3 receivers stacked right. Shotgun. Sproles to the left of Wentz. Wentz takes the snap. He's looking. He steps up. He fires. He's got Sproles. Sproles is hammered, and it's a head hit, and that will be a personal foul in Detroit. Sproles went up and caught it at the 8. Jared Davis hit him in the helmet.
Yeah, but you don't want to put your guys in that situation, boy, because he's got a linebacker just full speed running right at him, Darren Sproles, and then he's got to go up to try and catch the ball, a high catch, and Jared Davis does lower his helmet. He leads with the helmet. That's a foul.
7:37 remaining in regulation. Eagles trying to make this a 3-point game.
Yeah, and they have been helped on this drive by 2 big penalties.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass, but personal foul. Defense, number 40. Hit to a defensive player. Penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal and an automatic first down.
And I still don't understand the whole defenseless player thing. But he does lower his helmet.
It is 1st and goal at the 5.
What do you do? Just wait until he catches the ball and then tackle him?
I don't know. If that were going the other way, if that were against the Eagles, I'd be screaming. It is 1st and goal at the 5. Jordan Howard in. Wentz in the gun. Slips it to Howard. Howard pushes and shoves and takes it down to about the 2.
I think the Eagles are comfortable with grinding this thing out, getting a touchdown, but grinding it out, letting that defense rest a little bit so that they can come back with one more strong surge against that offense of the Detroit Lions.
Wentz repositions Howard to his left, slot to the far side. Arcega-Whiteside to the near side. Wentz back. He is firing incomplete. Agholor was the intended receiver, but he was well covered on the play.
Yeah.
Wentz tried to throw it in there, which I don't think was the judicious decision.
No, if you're going to throw it in there on tight coverage, you want one of those 6'3" targets that you have on the outside. And Nelson was well covered that time by Justin Coleman.
That's where maybe Alshon Jeffrey might have been an appropriate target.
The JJ. That's the kid down in this area for a high ball.
It is 3rd and goal from the 2. Wentz takes it. He's rolling. He looks. He fires. Touchdown! Penalty flag thrown as it goes to Agholor, who goes in untouched.
Yeah. And it's probably going to be a pick.
Oh, tell me.
Yeah, it's going to be a pick, I think, on Mac Hollins because he doesn't do a good enough job.
There's no foul on the play for offensive pass interference.
Oh, there is no foul.
Within the yard line of scrimmage. Touchdown.
That's a good no call. See, the initial call was going to be.
Wait a minute. Can I call it again?
Yeah.
Touchdown, Agholor.
Yes. Wait, call it again.
Every Eagles touchdown is proudly driven by your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. The Honda Summer Spectacular sales event is on. Find the dealer near you at DelValHondaDealers.com.
Listen, for all that he didn't do today, Nelson Agholor has 2 touchdowns.
He does.
And they're right back in this thing.
And here is Jake Elliott. Ball is spotted. Kick is up. Kick is good. And we have a 3-point game. There's a timeout on the field with the score. The Lions 27, the Eagles 24 on the Eagles Radio Network. We have 6:59 remaining in regulation. The Eagles trail the Lions 27-24. I remember watching the Lions opener after it came home from the Eagles win over Washington, and they had a lead in the 4th quarter, and it was Arizona behind Kyler Murray who came back and tied them. and it ended in a tie. Here is the kickoff, and it is taken, but not coming back. Is Jamal Agnew. Here's John Russell with an NFL update.
Battle of unbeatens at Arrowhead, Merrill. The Chiefs and Ravens and Patrick Mahomes continues to show America why he is the best player in the National Football League. 25 for 31, 344 yards, 3 TDs. KC up 30-13. You love everything Riebentoll does for you. Riebentoll sells more, so you save more. Every new Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram in stock.
First and 10 Lions at their own 25. Kerryon Johnson, the single setback. Slot out to the far side. And it is play action. And the pass is complete, but getting decked as soon as he caught the football is Hawkinson. Hawkinson made the catch, but getting him was Andrews and Dejo for a gain of only 1 yard.
Oh, and that could be the Hers crunch of the game. So for your pregame, in-game, or your postgame cravings, keep it Philly with Hers snacks.
It is second down and 9. 6.5 to go in regulation. Eagles trail by 3. That's the kind of defensive play you need.
Yeah, and that gets the crowd going.
Marvin Hall to the near side. Marvin Jones to the far side. Jones in motion. Second down. Play action. Stafford back again. Puts it in the air and completes it for a first down as he finds Marvin Jones wide open across the 40-yard line. There wasn't an Eagle within 5 yards of him as he came back and made that reception.
He's scary because, you have to be afraid of him getting beyond you, but they just give him way too much cushion, and that's Sidney Jones out there. You've got to get a little tighter to him than that.
Absolutely.
And especially when you know that it's going to be a breaking route.
It is first and 10 Lions up at the 43-yard line. This time Ty Johnson in the backfield. Motion to the near side of the field. They go with a quick pitch to Ty Johnson, who tries to go outside, and he cannot. He loses 2 yards as the Eagles take him down. Rasul Douglas made a great play, and Rodney McLeod made it work too, and they lose 1 yard.
They try to get the defense going one way and flip it back the other way. They saw success with that by the Falcons last week, but not happening. The guys up front, they don't make the play, but that second level of the defense, they're able to come up and make a stop for a loss.
It is second down and 11. Receiver split, wing to the near side of the field. Kerryon Johnson, the tailback in the eye. Back goes Stafford. He fires, and it is incomplete. It was intended for Galladay. It might have been deflected, and then the Eagles went up and knocked it down again.
Zach Brown, the linebacker, gets the first tip on it. He drops in coverage, drops in that flat area, or the hook zone area. He gets a tip on it, and then Rasul Douglas comes up to make sure that the ball is not caught. Now the fans are going bananas.
And he could have made the hit before because it couldn't have been pass interference once it's tipped. It is third and 11. Can they stop the Lions right here? Lions at their own 44. It is third and 11. 3 receivers, all right. Back goes Stafford. Stafford punts. Stafford fires, and it is it complete? It is. Across midfield at the 46. Amendola, too far open on that sideline, hauls it in for 15 yards.
They run a bunch set on that right side, and just confusion at the top of the route. And this is a great job by Danny Amendola, once an Eagle briefly, but tapping both feet inbounds on the sideline.
It was a great job by Danny Amendola, but a poor job by the Eagles coverage. First and 10, Lions at the Eagles 43. On first down, it is a running play, and down goes Kerryon Johnson after a short pickup. Now the clock becomes more important because there are 4 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in regulation. Eagles trail by 3. Eagles have all of their timeouts remaining. Lions have 2 of theirs.
Yeah, and that was a huge third down, but that bunch set just confused the secondary at the top of the route, and Amendola gets too much space.
It is second down and 8. Single setback. They go with a double tight end slot to the near side of the field. Running play again, and Kerryon Johnson is buried at the line of scrimmage. And now here's another one of those third downs. It is third and 8. Vinny Curry that time with a very good tackle.
Well,
third and 8.
Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham both have gotten a couple of snaps off. They come onto the field now to try and get that pressure that you need in situations like this. You want your best defenders on the field. Well, they just got a couple of reps of a break.
It is 3rd and 8. 2 receivers right, 2 left. McKissick in the game. Now Kerryon Johnson to the right of Stafford. Stafford back. Stafford steps up. He starts to run. He fires. And is it complete? No. It was trapped by Marvin Jones. Incomplete. And I think they're going to punt.
Yeah, a little one hop to Marvin Jones. But the pressure, they're able to speed up Matthew Stafford and force him to move out of the pocket.
They would never attempt a field goal here because if it's off, the Eagles get the ball across midfield or at midfield. At any rate, they're going to punt with Sam Martin with 3:25 to go in regulation, and the Eagles trailing by 3. Here is the punt by Martin. It is high end over end. Sproles watches it as it kicks across the 5 and into the end zone. Sproles will never make the bad decision when that ball is in the air. Never.
He's been doing this far too long.
3:16 remaining in regulation, and the Eagles trail by 3. And they will have the football at their 20-yard line, moving left to right.
And they have all of their timeouts still intact. Did you just say that?
They do. I did. All 3 of them. All at the 20. Of course, one mistake can do them in. But at the same time, they have to play aggressively. But there's plenty of time. Plenty of time. They don't have to go for it in 1, 2, or 3 plays. Sproles to the right of Wentz. Slot to either side. Wentz in the gun. 1st and 10. Motion. Wentz fakes. Back. Looks. Fires. Complete. And making the catch is Agholor, but he's tackled immediately after a very short gain. Tackled by Justin Coleman. Pickup of only 2.
And
we go under 3 minutes.
Justin Coleman just following Agholor. This time he's just a shallow crossing route, and he's running with Agholor the entire way. But Carson feels that's his best chance of a completion.
Wentz again in the gun. 2 receivers slotted to each side. Now Sproles is dispatched wide right. So it's 3 right, 2 left. Wentz in the gun. Wentz takes the snap. He's back. He's looking. He steps up. And it's deflected at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. He was looking, I think, deep left, but we'll never know because as the ball went out of his hand, it was hit almost immediately and fell to the ground. And now the Eagles face a very, very tough 3rd down. And they're in the situation where if they don't pick it up here, they have to think about punting because they have all 3 of their timeouts. They are 7 for 11 on 3rd downs. They have to get across the 30. Wentz in the gun. His go-to guy is usually Ertz. Wentz back. Wentz steps up. He pumps. He looks. He is floating it to the far side, and it is incomplete and broken up on the far side of the field by Justin Coleman, intended for Agholor. But they are not sending in the punting unit. The reason I said that they could punt because they have all 3 of their timeouts. While on the other hand, if they don't pick it up right here, they are coming close to presenting the game to the Lions. But Doug said, throw caution to the wind, let's get it. Let's pick it up right here. This could be the game right here.
Well, and wherever Zach Ertz is, I promise you, Matt Patricia is going to have 2 defenders around him.
Wentz puts Ertz in motion. Wentz in the gun. Wentz is back. He steps up. He's looking. He starts to run. He dives forward, and the football comes loose after he's down, but they do not pick it up. They do not pick it up.
The runner was down by contact, short of the line to gain. Detroit will take over on down.
Lions take over on down.
Listen, and he looked for his favorite target, Zach Ertz, and as I said, Zach Ertz was double covered. When he went in motion, Zach Ertz, 2 defenders went in motion as well, and they kept one to the inside. Davis, the linebacker, he's going to cover him inside. They've got a safety on the outside of him. They're just not going to allow him to win in that situation.
For the first time, a lot of people are headed for the exits. It's not over yet because they have 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. And even if the Lions, if they can hold them to a field goal, the Eagles still have a chance to come back. Slot to the far side, backs in the eye. Motion to the near side of the field and Marvin Jones. On first down, they run it, and Kerryon Johnson goes right down. There's nothing there, and the Eagles will quickly take their first timeout.
Timeout, Philadelphia, their first, a 30-second timeout.
See, if they hold the Lions to a field goal, it's a 6-point game. I'm just being a diehard.
Trying to hold on to as much time as they can using those timeouts.
Very disappointing if the Eagles end up losing this game, if they are unable to come up with a miraculous finish, because that will make them 1-2 with a trip to Green Bay in a few days, Thursday night. Second down and 10. Would Stafford throw here? I don't know. He's got Kerryon Johnson to his left, and he does give it to Kerryon Johnson, and Johnson is thrown down again for no gain, and the Eagles will stop the clock quickly. Akeem Spence made the tackle. With 2:02, now they're going to let it run. And we get the 2-minute warning, brought to you by Tasty Cake. Make happy happen with your hometown favorite snack, Tasty Cake. Visit Tasty Cake on Facebook today. Here's the 2-minute warning with the score. Detroit 27, the Eagles 24. On the Eagles. We have 2 minutes to go in regulation. Eagles trailing the Lions 27-24. The Lions have a 3rd down and 10. They go with an empty backfield. 3 tight ends. Stafford in the gun. Stafford calling for the football. Stafford is back. Stafford steps up. He puts it high and deep, and it is caught out of bounds. And the Lions will bring in Matt Prater.
Sidney Jones does a nice job here on Galladay. Just funneling him out of bounds and then going up to contest the catch. And they're bringing pressure this time.
They are.
Stafford gets rid of the football early, and I think that accounts for the errant throw, because if he even catches this ball, it's going to be out of bounds.
Prater will attempt a 46-yard field goal to give the Lions a 6-point lead. He missed a 40-yarder last week against the Chargers. Ball is spotted. The kick is blocked. It's blocked. It's picked up by the Eagles. Running with the football. Running is Douglas. Douglas on his feet. Douglas still running with the football. And finally, the Eagles have him down. He's down outside the 20.
Boy. There's a late penalty flag on the field, but what an outstanding job of getting on the football, on the field goal. I think it's Malcolm Jenkins.
It is Malcolm Jenkins.
I think Malcolm Jenkins gets a hand on the ball. Rasul Douglas.
Team number 27, 10-yard penalty, first down.
What are they calling a 10-yard penalty on?
I don't know, and I don't even care at this point. I'm just enjoying the fact that
Are they calling an unsportsmanlike penalty on Malcolm Jenkins? Now they're moving this way back to the 50-yard line.
I saw a push in the back, and that was somewhere around that point, or just beyond the 50.
Wow.
So it's going to be a point of foul penalty.
All right, the Eagles have the ball at midfield. They trail by 3. They have 2 timeouts remaining. calling out the play, empty backfield. 3 receivers. Wentz takes the snap, he's back, he looks, he fires, and it is incomplete. Incomplete, intended for Ertz. Yeah, broken up by Tracy Walker.
And that ball is a little bit behind Zach Ertz, and it's in that area where Tracy Walker can actually get a hand on the football. You have to be a little bit more accurate with your passing, especially when you've had this gift right in your hand. You're at the 50-yard line, and you got a chance now to go down and at least tie the game, if not win it.
Have to get to at least the 35. Figure that. Wentz in the gun again. Sproles to his left. 3 receivers right. Back goes Wentz. He's looking, still looking. He fires, and it is juggled, incomplete. It was catchable that time, but it went off the hands of Mac Hollins. It was in his fingertips.
Yeah, excellent coverage there, though. Mike Ford does a nice job of ripping the football out, not allowing that catch.
Yeah, that's good pressure, good defensive pressure. So now the Eagles have a 3rd down and 10. They had the break of all time there. Of course, they made that break with a great block on the field goal attempt. But now they are in a 3rd down and 10.
They converted 7 out of 12 opportunities on 3rd down so far.
But this is the one that counts the most. Wentz again in the gun. Wentz back. He looks. He fires. He completes it. He is Agholor, but he's short of the 1st down. And this will put the Eagles in a 4th down and about 5. 4th and 5.
Yeah, they're going to run out of opportunities. They have to cash in here.
They absolutely have to cash in. It is 4th down and 5. Pretty much 4th down in the game right here. Wentz lines them up. Slot to the near side. 3 receivers to the far side. Hold your breath. Wentz back. He's looking. He still looks. Pumps. And he is going for Sproles, who makes the catch, and there's a penalty flag on the play. Inside the 20, pass interference, and they're calling it on the Eagles.
Yeah, that's going to be on Darren Sproles.
How do you call that at this point of the game? How do you call that at this point of the game?
I think this is one that you have to call. If not, the other side, they would. I think it would be a perfect time for them to throw the red flag to make that call.
Well, at least the Eagles will get one more shot at it. The Eagles will get one more shot. One more shot. It's going to be 4th and 15. With 49 seconds to go. Sproles made an amazing play.
Yeah, and you know, if I'm Darren Sproles, yeah, I push him off as well. You got a 6'1" safety against a 5'6" Darren Sproles, yeah, and they're right there together.
3 receivers left, 2 right. This could be the game. Wentz back again. He's looking. He pumps. He steps up. Still looking. He is going deep, and it is incomplete. Broken up. Intended for J.J. Arcega-Whiteside at the goal line, and that will be it for the game with 41 seconds left.
Justin Coleman breaking up the play to J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. You know, the only thing he could do here is slow up and try and play that ball a little bit higher, where you got to go up and jump for the football. He lets his ball come down a little bit too far.
Eagles had every opportunity to get back in this game. Every opportunity, and they made a great play on the block. And they had the ball way downfield.
Yep.
They were already within field goal range. I'd like to see the block that brought that all the way back. Lions will just kneel on the football.
Philadelphia, they're second.
Eagles take a timeout.
Wins are so hard in the National Football League, and especially when you're at home, you have opportunities. You have to be able to win these situations. This is what keeps teams from making it to the playoffs.
But they did not make the big plays when they had to. They made so many mistakes, but they still had a chance. Despite their ineptitude in many areas, they still had a chance to steal this game.
Yep.
They had a chance to steal this game.
And they made so many mistakes early in the football game.
And the Lions will kneel on it again. Eagles take their last time out, I believe. Now they're just going to run the clock. That's it. Doesn't matter. We didn't have any sacks today. That's one of the problems. But Stakem is contributing to stop hunger in Philadelphia by donating $100 for every sack throughout the season to Phil Abundance. Well, the Eagles made it exciting with a blocked field goal that pretty much put them in position for a field goal to tie the game. But a penalty moved the football back, and the Eagles could never even get close to field goal range again. We'll be back with more on the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Make today the day on 94. I hate to say should have won, but this is one they should have won. And they just gave the ball away.
Because they really should have won it. You know, they fight back and they have an opportunity to win, and especially after the blocked field goal attempt. They should have won the game.
Any rebroadcast of this game is expressly prohibited without the advance written permission of the NFL, 94 WIP, and Entercom Communications. Our statistician, Terry Small, spotter Bill Werndell, stadium engineers Andy Coffin and the Colt, stadium chief engineer Lane Massey, director of engineering Dave Scalish, engineering supervisor Ben Hill, studio engineer Anthony Foley, studio producer Mike Angelina, and studio assistants Dan Wilson and Tucker Bagley, and our producer Joseph A. McPeak. That'll wrap things up for today. On Thursday night, boy, it doesn't get easier, the Eagles visit the Packers at Lambeau Field, and Mike and I will be at Lambeau to send you all the action. Coming up, it's the postgame show with Rob Cherry, Jamal Jackson, and Dan Klecko. Very disappointing game. Once again, the final score, the Lions 27, the Eagles 24. For Mike Quick, this is Merrill Reese saying so long from Lincoln Financial Field on the PNC Eagles Football Network.